Okay, hello there. Here we are in the next video in our lessons in probability. We are in this part, probability of random variables, and we're going to talk about in this video about binomial distributions, a special kind of discrete probability distribution. So our objectives for this lesson would be straight to the point, compute probabilities corresponding to a discrete random variable, including the binomial distribution. And we're going to focus on this one. So let's explain that a binomial distribution is a probability distribution. It is a discrete probability distribution with only two possible outcomes, which we divide into success and a failure. So before going deeper into that, the number of trials or the number of repetitions that we do the experiment is what we call a Bernoulli process. Okay, so again, if the experiment consists of repeated trials, each with two possible outcomes, success and failure, with the probability of success remaining constant from trial to trial, such process is referred to as the Bernoulli process. And each trial is what we call a Bernoulli trial, which came from the mathematician Jacob or Jackson, some books, Bernoulli, from his book Ars Conjectandi, or The Art of Conjecture, published by his nephew Nicholas 8 years after his death in 1713. So talking about the binomial distribution, we need to understand four variables over here. We first need to understand P. This is the probability of success. Q is the probability of failure. N is the number of trials, number of Bernoulli trials, which are being repeated in this experiment. Take note, these trials are deemed to be independent trials. And we want to determine, or we are interested in determining the probability of getting X successes. So the probability of getting X successes out of these N trials is given by the formula P of X equals X, wherein your big X here is the binomial distribution or the binomial random variable. It's equal to the combination of N and X, N choose X, times the probability of success raised to X times the probability of failure, which is actually your Q here is 1 minus P. That's the complement of the success. That's the failure raised to N minus X. Okay, so meaning if it's the complement P plus Q equals 1, therefore Q is equal to 1 minus P. So this is the formula that we want to deal with. So the binomial distribution, let's start with example 1. Say, consider tossing a six-sided die 3 times, and we will be determining the probability that a 4 turns up. Okay, so with this, we are actually having this information of the N, the P, and the Q, though it's not stated clearly, but we can actually unearth them. For 1, we are tossing a six-sided die 3 times, so the number of repetitions is equal to your N. So your N is 3 times. Your success is the probability that the 4 will turn up. So we know that in a normal die, there are 6 numbers. There's only one 4. So the probability of success here, your P, is going to be 1 over 6 because there's only one 4 out of the 6 here. And the probability of your Q will be the complement of your P, which is 5 over 6, right? 1 minus 1 over 6 is 5 over 6. And you are interested for letter A here. You want to determine the probability that 4 comes up 0 times. So in this letter, in this number, in number 1, your X is equal to 0. So you're putting this in your calculator. 6 combination 0, you multiply that by 1 over 6 raised to 0, and you multiply it by your Q, 5 over 6 raised to, well, you can write it directly, 6 minus 0, which is equal to 6. So this is the thing that you should input in your calculators. For now, we're going to practice it. We're going to answer that next time. For number 2, if you're, how about once? So we have only until thrice. So let's have this illustration for now. So for ones, you have x equals 1. So therefore, how do you write it? 6, choose 1 times 1 over 6 raised to 1 this time times 5 over 6 raised to, well, that's 6 minus 1. That's going to be 5. Okay. For number 3, twice your x is equal to 2. So therefore, what you have is 6c2 times 1 over 6 raised to 2 times 5 over 6 raised to, well, 6 minus 2 is 4. And for here, it will be x equals 3. That's thrice. So therefore, 6c3x, or times 1 over 6 raised to 3 times 5 over 6 raised to 3. Okay, so try to insert this in your calculator. Tell me what the answer is, and then we'll see each other in the next video. So thank you very much.